Good morning, everyone. I am Jacqueline B. Jaime, and today I'll be discussing about the etiological factors and causes of emotional and behavioral disorder. Emotional and behavioral disorder are specific mental health disorder that causes extreme difficulties with both emotions and behaviors. They affect a child's functioning in most of all areas of their life. Emotional and behavioral disorder, or we can call as E or BD, make it difficult for a child to regulate emotions and make appropriate behavior choices in a wide variety of situations. In some cases, emotional and behavioral difficulties may arise within the school environment. Moreover, emotional and behavioral difficulties may result, for example, abuse or neglect, physical or mental illness, sensory or physical impairment, or psychological trauma. There are two factors in etiology or causes of emotional and behavioral disorder. These are the biological and environmental factors. Biological factors. Authority believes that all children are born with a biologically determined temperament. The traits of temperament are mostly innate traits that we are born with, although they can be influenced by individuals, family, culture, or their experiences. Scientists estimate that 20 to 60% of temperament is determined by genetics. Temperament, however, does not have a clear pattern of inheritance and are not specific genes that confer specific temperamental traits. A person's temperament style plays a role in how they behave and how they interact with other people within their world. Environmental factors. Environmental factors with a bearing on vulnerability operate both family and community levels. Contributory factors include material deprivation, poor parental health, low parental education, family stress, exposure to intimate partner violence, neighborhood deprivation, or poor school environment. Home and family influences. Home is the first environment of a child since birth. The emotional environment they see and feel around them will shape their personality. The bond your child shares with you will help them understand and learn how to express their love and fears. The relationship that a child has with the parents during their early years is critical to the way he learns to behave. Frequent parental involvement in providing for the child's physical and psychological needs is a significant factor in developing a healthy self concept. Parents are a child's first teachers, and young minds learn by example. So, if you have frequent arguments with your spouse or stay in a chaotic household, then it may adversely affect your child's learning behavior. A positive home environment is the foundation for healthy brain development. Children's surroundings have a huge impact on their well being. A healthy and safe home is essential for a child to grow, learn, and explore, while a problematic home environment can have detrimental effects on a child's intellectual, social, and emotional development. Research has shown that a negative home environment during the early years of life can lead to impaired development, including poor language skills, behavioral problems, and deficit in school readiness. School influence. The school environmental factors are the internal conditions of the school that influence a student's academic performance. These are the school climate, facilities, resources, and also their teachers and co-classmates that influence students' academic performance. School has a huge role or impact on students' behavior as they spend most of their time on it rather than at home. It is where they meet different people with different personalities that may influence their behavior. Students who study in a positive learning environment have been shown to be more motivated, engaged, and have a higher overall learning ability. On the other hand, students who study in a chaotic learning environment have shown to be more unmotivated and tend to fail in academics. The child's behavior pattern learned in school is a composite of behavior and attitudes learned at home that interact with his or her experiences with different teachers and classmates. The cause of emotional and behavioral disorders are related to predisposing, precipitating, and sustaining factors in the occurrence of the said behavior. Predisposing factors refers to the tendencies and risk to develop emotional disturbances. Example are physical illness or disabilities, shyness, hyperactive behavior, for that may come about as a result of heredity or emotionally dysfunctional home environments. On the other hand, precipitating factors refer to specific incidents that may trigger the display of emotional disturbances. Examples are separation of parent, death in the family, abandonment, and other crisis situations. The characteristics of children and youth with emotional and behavioral disorders. Research on American children with emotional and behavioral disorders that used national samples revealed that these children have average IQ scores with a mean score of 86 points, with more than half of the sample scoring between 91 and 90 points. In another study, Cullinan et al. 1992 concluded that the highest mean score of 92.6 was achieved by these children because they attended regular classes and received special education services. However, the research data disapproved the popular thinking that these children are poor in academic and slow learners. Moving on, social skills and interpersonal relationship. Studies confirm the observation that students with emotional and behavioral disorders often experience great difficulty in developing and maintaining interpersonal relationships as early as during early childhood. The problems in acquiring social skills and in maintaining healthy interpersonal relationships persist through the adolescent period and adulthood. Students with emotional and behavioral disorders has difficulty with interpersonal relationships, including teachers and peers. A general feeling of unhappiness or depression, feeling of fear and anxiety are related to personal or school matters. Antisocial behavior. Antisocial behavior develop early in adolescence before the age of 15. These individuals are so unconcerned with the feelings and rights of other people that they are morally bankrupt and lack of sense of remorse. Antisocial personality disorder, or sometimes called a sociopathy. It is a mental disorder, and people with antisocial personality disorder tend to antagonize, manipulate, or threat others harshly or with callous indifference. Oppositional defiant disorder, or we can call as ODD, is a type of behavior disorder, and it's mostly diagnosed in childhood. Children with OOD are uncooperative, defiant, hostile toward peers, parents, teachers, and other authority figures. They are troubling to others than they are to themselves. Symptoms of OOD may include having frequent temper tantrums, arguing a lot with adults, refusing to do what adults ask, always questioning and refusing to follow rules, doing things to annoy or upset others, blaming other people for the child's own misbehaviors or mistakes, and lastly, being annoyed. Externalizing behavior. A child or an adult who exhibits externalizing behaviors engages in behaviors that harm other people. It includes often losing one's temper, excessive verbal aggression, physical aggression to people and animals, destruction of property, theft, and deliberate fire setting. Some children with emotional and behavioral disorders display externalizing behavioral disorder that violate the rules and norms of society and annoy and also disturb other people. Internalizing behavior. Internalizing behavior is inner directed behavior and usually the result of negative emotions. Internalizing behaviors are actions that direct problematic energy toward the self. In other words, a person who shows internalizing behaviors does things that harm himself. These type of behavior disorders create a serious impediment to their development. They manifest withdrawn behavior, lack social skills, often daydream, tend to be fear of things and events without reason, and may experience serious doubts of depression. Internalizing behavioral disorder involve mental or emotional conflicts that may go unnoticed. Aggressive and violent behavior. Violent behavior in children and adolescents can include a wide range of behavior: explosive temper tantrums, physical aggression, fighting, threats, or attempts to hurt others, including thoughts of wanting to kill other people, use of weapons, cruelty toward animals, fire setting, intentional destruction of property, and vandalism. For children, anger issue often accompany other mental health conditions, including ADHD, autism, obsessive compulsive disorder, and Tourette's syndrome. Genetics and other biological factors are thought to play a role in anger, aggression, and environment is a contributor as well. Moving on to the last topic, delinquency. The word delinquency is a legal term that refers to the criminal offenses committed by an adolescent. Delinquency is a behavioral disorder, and study shows that a pattern of antisocial behavior early in the child's life is a strong predictor of delinquency adolescence. Criminal career starts at an early age and usually by the age of 12. Juvenile delinquency is the behavior of a minor that is marked by criminal activities, persistent antisocial behavior, or disobedience which the child's parents are unable to control. A violation of the law by a minor which is not punishable by death or life imprisonment. In the Philippines justice system, Republic Act 9344 or the Juvenile Justice Law of 2006 sets the minimum age of criminal liability at 15. This means that those between 15 to 18 years old may be detained in youth centers and go through rehabilitation programs.